Yo, what's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and we have been hot on Underdog Fantasy. So, two of our past three entries have cashed. So, today I found some value on Underdog Fantasy, including Alexander Walker under 9.5 points. So, we're just going to go through these plays. And I've explained this before, but if you only use prize picks, you should definitely consider signing up for Underdog Fantasy. And there's a few reasons, right? The first reason is both of these platforms, they work in pretty similar ways. Right? Basically, the way they work is any three picks you select, you're always going to get the same payout. Doesn't matter if you take overs or unders, doesn't matter if you take baseball picks, whatever. Any three picks you select on Underdog Fantasy, you're getting a 6x payout. You're betting one to win six. So the difference, right, between prize picks is for prize picks, for any three pick entry you create, you're betting one to win five. You're only getting a 5x payout on prize picks, whereas Underdog Fantasy for 3-pick entries is giving you a 6x payout. So Underdog Fantasy has better prices on the 6-pick entries, 3-pick entries, because they're offering a 6x payout. So that's a benefit of having Underdog. And then the second benefit is, of course, you never know where the value is going to be, right? Sometimes there's more plays on prize picks. I've already given out some plays today on prize picks, such as this, but sometimes there's more value on Underdog. So when I talk about plays that I'm betting, I mean, I'm literally just showing you guys what I'm putting my own money on. If I find value on Underdog Fantasy, I'll give out more plays on Underdog. If I find more value on prize picks, I'll give out more plays on prize picks. So you should get as many of these platforms as possible. But anyways, the first tool I use to find value on Underdog Fantasy is right here. It's called the OddsJam Positive Expected Value tool. And basically the way that Underdog works, right, is they're not changing your payouts based on you selecting over or under. You're always getting that 6x payout, betting one to win six. Doesn't matter if you take over or under. So the simple strategy, right, and I mean, it really is this simple. The strategy for beating Underdog Fantasy is you want to find spots, right, where sportsbooks have one side heavily favored. So for Walker Alexander, you can see OddsJam is pulling in odds from all these sportsbooks. So if we go to NBA, head over to player points. So that should be right here. And then we look at Walker Alexander. You're going to see his under 9.5 points is heavily favored on DraftKings. OddsJam is reading in that data, right? DraftKings has his under all the way at minus 145, so the under is the heavily favored outcome. So that's a great play to include in your Underdog entry, right? Because Underdog doesn't change your payouts based on you selecting over or under, you just want to find spots similar to prize picks where sportsbooks have one side really heavily favored. And for Alexander Walker, I mean, I'm literally just following the data. All the bookies, right, they all have his under heavily favored. Caesars has this at minus 163, DraftKings minus 145, BetOnline minus 167, Bovada minus 150, Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, known to be the smartest sports book, they have his under at minus 143. So we have all these data points, right? All the sports books are saying the same thing. Yo, Alexander Walker, he's a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. So I say this all the time, but as a sharp bettor, follow the data. Right? Follow the data. So on Underdog Fantasy for a 3-pick entry, you're essentially getting minus 122 odds. I've explained this before, but because Underdog Fantasy, any 3 picks you select, right? Doesn't matter if you take overs or unders, you're always betting one to win six. That's basically equivalent to a 3-leg parlay where every pick is minus 122 odds. So if you just look at a parlay calculator, which I have right here, if all 3 picks are minus 122 odds, you're betting one to win six. $1 total payout 603. So small differences due to rounding, but you get the point. You're essentially getting minus 122 odds on Underdog. So you're looking for value, right? What sharp bettors do is they look for plays to include in an Underdog Fantasy entry that are profitable at minus 122 odds. And the tool that does that for you is the OddsJam Positive EV tool. Right? So this tool literally is just reading in all of these tens of thousands, if not more. I mean, maybe even 50,000 odds on Underdog Fantasy, and it's pointing out those rare few betting opportunities. They're not super common, but when they occur, you want to take advantage as a sharp bettor, right? You want to find those rare few spots where sportsbooks have one side really heavily favored, and you can get that in your Underdog entry. So for Alexander Walker, we're following the data, not following our gut because we want to make money. all the books have his under heavily favored. That's a sharp bet, a great NBA player prop, an NBA prop to include in your underdog entry. So that's the first pick I included. Then I've explained this before, but there's a bunch of different fantasy sites, Thrive, Jock, Hot Streak, Parlay Play. Like, sign up for all these books. Again, sometimes there's more value. Like, you can't get this play on Parlay Play. You can't get it on Jock Market. Can't get it on Prize Picks. This play is only on Underdog. So you don't have Underdog, you're missing out on a really profitable betting opportunity. So long story short, get as many of these books as possible. But what this fantasy screen shows you is, for example, right here, I took this play as well. Tavares under half of a single, right? So I took him to not get a single. Why? All the sports books, same exact thing. So the layout is slightly different, but you can see right here, you just, similar to the EV tool, on the EV tool, you want to take the bets in bold and in green. On the fantasy screen, it's no different. You want to take these picks in green, right? So you can see here, you could have taken, Alexander Walker under 9.5 points. This plays higher up. It has a higher profit margin. So that plays better to include than, let's say, his under 5.5 rebounds plus assists. But long story short, I'm just following the value. Tavares, under half of a single, grabbing some of these plays from the fantasy screen as well that I like. And here's my 3-pick entry, right? So pretty simple. Trey Turner, under 1.5 bases. Tavares, under half of a single. And Walker Alexander, under 9.5 points. Just following the data, looking for value on Underdog. Hopefully, this video was helpful. I tried to break down the math behind the Underdog payouts. I have some other strategy videos about Underdog fantasy that I'll include in the end screen. And I'll also include a spreadsheet kind of breaking down how the payouts of Underdog fantasy work. But my 3-pick entries right here, 1 NBA player prop, 2 MLB props, all unders. I love unders. So let's go ahead. Let's make some money.